Action. Hello, welcome to the Chemical Man podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Today I want to talk about some subjects that most people don't really talk about. So we always talk about the good money, the good benefits, getting in the plant, working a bunch of overtime, do that. But we need to focus more also on the tragedies that happen too. Some days some days can be pretty bad. I mean, look at the history of all the refineries and plants and stuff, and there's always been something that's happened. You've had explosions at BPs. You've had fires at other places. You've had fires at other places. I remember watching something like a year or two ago that somebody caught on the Ring camera that it shook. I think it was Louisiana or something, where a plant like had an explosion, and the whole camera shook in the house and stuff. So we also need to be aware of our surroundings on that stuff too. So I just want to take this time to talk about some of those things that most people probably don't talk about, or they don't really talk about in school and other things. When you work in this business, you do get paid good money, but it's also considered hazard pay, is what some people say too on that. And with that, you need to make sure you're following your rules, make sure you follow your procedures, make sure you're following your lockout tagouts. Make sure you're walking the jobs. Make sure you are trained on the job well. That's a big component right there too. You want to, if you don't understand something out in the field, or you don't know how to do a proper lineup or something, then you need to take it and you need to escalate it. You need to go ask somebody on your shift, hey, can you show me this, or can you help me with this, and go from there. I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I've experienced over the years, and I know, and I hope other people talk about the stuff they have. We had lockout tagouts. I had a lunch with my buddy yesterday, and we were talking about his lockout tagout versus my lockout tagout. He still does the old school way where they use the locks. They clean everything, they lock everything out. They have a lock box. They put the key for all the locks inside the lock box. The supervisor puts their key on that lockbox. The maintenance crew puts their key on that lockbox, and then everybody is good to go work. You can't take any locks off. You can't do anything until the job is done, and then everybody will remove their locks, and then they'll return to service like that. Now, where I work, we don't use locks anymore. We did away with that a long time ago. We use red tags. And everything gets a tag. So your breaker gets a tag, your bleeds get tags, your suction discharge on pumps get tags, the column, everything gets tagged out. And when you tag everything out, you have a verification. You have a second person to go verify it, and their job is to go out there and to make sure you got all the tags in the right spot, and to make sure everything is good. And then once it's good, they'll sign everything off. And they'll say, okay, the red tags are in the right spot. Everything looks good to hand this over to maintenance. And then when maintenance comes, they come. We show them everything. We get them on what's called a red tag master. They sign on, showing that they're going to work the job. And then we walk them out. And you got to do a lot. So you make sure it's locked out correctly. Make sure everything's tagged correctly. Then when the maintenance comes, you're going to do your permit. Make sure you do your permit correctly. Make sure you put everything in the permit or the job scope that they're going to do on that job, right? Sometimes think a little extra, because, if they have to, wear PPE for a first break versus not a first break, you might want to put notes down there on that. When you finally get all your permit done, then you go into your field, and then there's things you do in your field. You're going to show them where they're going to work. If they're going to break open a line, you're going to put a tag on that line you're going to break open, so they know what they are breaking into, and they're not breaking into something else they're not supposed to. When you show them where your safety showers are. You make sure they work. You show them which way the wind's blowing. Look at the wind socks. You try to find your point to where your evacuation point, to where if something happens in the unit, they know where to go and to be safe if they hear the sirens going off. There's a lot to do, but as you do it and you get comfortable with it, you can go pretty quick. You can say, hey, this is an evacuation point, this is a safe shower. You check everything on that. And then once you get all that done and you hand over the permit, and then the maintenance people can do the job that they're there to do on that. And so that's very important that you do that, because there are times that people have written permits and they've gone out there, and we come up and find that the maintenance crew is on the wrong line. they're over there busted into something that they shouldn't have, and we caught them just like at the last second before they even got everything done. We're like, hey, you're on the wrong line. I don't know who told you this, but that's not where you're supposed to be on there. So it's also important. And it's also important too to after you give your permit out, to go back and check on the job later. As you make your rounds or catch your samples, just go back and see how they're doing and see if they need anything else on there too on that. I'll tell you a story here. One time that we were doing a lockout tagout, the guy I was working with, we had spent like 40 minutes out there, and all this guy was doing was going to cut a pipe support. A pipe came out, made a 90 up, it had a support on it for there. All he was supposed to do on that job was just cut the pipe support and then put a brace in there so they can come back later and weld a new one. 40 minutes. We talked with the guy. We showed him where everything's supposed to be, safety showers, just everything that needed to be done with that permit. And it wasn't a very big job, right? Well, we came back later, and the guy had cut the pipe support. He had cut the other piece of pipe out. He'd cut a flange out. He cut another piece of pipe out. And we're like, what in the world, man? We didn't go over all that. That's not on the job scope. He's like, well, I was here. So come to find out, next thing you know, they're pulling our permit because the guy did it. So they're looking at us, asking us, hey, why did y'all allow this? And we're like, dude, we didn't allow that. We talked with him 40 minutes. We gave him the job scope. We came back. And he did all that by himself. So we had to talk about that one for a little while, and then luckily, everything was squared away. Everything was good. Everything was good on there, but you do have things like that. You might have one of those maintenance crews saying, "Oh man, well I know we're supposed to do that over there, so I'll just move down the line and we'll work on that valve over there too, even though it's kind of out of the job scope." And you don't really want to do that. You don't want anybody to do that. You want everybody to come to work safe. You want everybody to go home to safe, and you want to make sure that everything is. So my buddy and I were also talking about confined space. Like, he doesn't write confined spaces. They usually have their foreman do that, and then that's how they do that stuff. Where I work, I myself, as one of the few people that write confined spaces, we're the ones that get it clean, where you make sure we got a right permit to get it clean. We're the ones that lock it out. We're the ones that show where to put all your slip blinds in. We're the ones to show where to put the fan on to get the ventilation through there. We're the ones that do the checking. We're the ones that do the monitoring if they have to go in full face. We're the ones that check the air packs. We're the ones that write the permit for them to go in there. We're the ones that give the meeting to talk with the people, because sometimes you might have more than one or two people. You might have 10 people in a column working in there, and so you have to give a meeting. You have to tell them the job scope, make sure they understand what they're doing. You have the confined space. You have the hole watch on there. So their job is to make sure to watch people go in and out of the hole. Their job is to write down the time they go in, the time they come out. If they see anything, they're supposed to report back. We have a radio. They call us to let us know every time they go in on there. And we also tell them, hey, look, if somebody falls down in there, it is not your job to go in and save them, because then now we're saving 2 people, possibly 3. So your job is to call us. We can call EHS. We can get somebody over here quick, and then they can go in and grab the person that needs to be grabbed. So there's a lot of things besides just coming out, having fun, and making money. There's a whole other side to working in this industry that you have to take serious. And I hope everybody takes it serious on there. I know if you're having a person on your shift that's not taking it serious, or they're just kind of half-assing it or not doing it, then that's the shift's responsibility to get together and come together and have a shift meeting. Say, hey, look, man, you're not cutting it. You need to pick up the pace. You need to do the right thing. You need to do your walkouts. You're not going to make us look bad. We're here to help you, and if you need help, that's what we're here for. And I know my shift does, and I know a few other shifts do that too. That they really work together as a team out there. But the safety side of it, man, like I said, the safety side of it, you just got to take your time on there and ask questions as you come along on anything you don't understand. And it also goes back to what I said before. If you're having a bad day, and like say you have something else on your mind that happens outside of work, man, take 5 minutes. Just take 5 minutes to calm down. Ask somebody, hey, look, I'm just having a bad day. Can you come help me out? Or I need a second pair of eyes over here to look at this and make sure I'm doing it. Because when you have a lot of lineups, or even if you're in a batch process and you're making a batch, I mean, the slightest off calculation can ruin a whole batch, and that's not good. So it makes you safe, makes everybody else safe, and then you just go from there and make sure that you want to go home safe. But if you have something on your mind, just take a couple of minutes to calm down. Just get your mind right. Just try to leave your feelings at the gate if you can. I know that's a hard thing to say. Grab your other operator. Come with me. We'll look at this together, and then you have a lot better time when you have someone else helping you versus by yourself and you're out there and you get confused on there because your mind's not right on there. It's another thing too, like I'll tell you a story. I've been burned out there, and I don't like it. It wasn't anything that I did. It was just the faulty equipment, and that happens too. I was making a lineup, and the gasket wasn't holding right, and it came out and got me on my side. And next thing you know, I'm in the shower getting cleaned up. And so for everybody out there, don't be ashamed. If you get something on you, get in the shower, get naked, get cleaned up. That's the best thing I can tell you. I don't care if people make fun of you later. I'd rather have somebody make fun of me later and have a good time and laugh about it versus getting seriously burned or not taking care of the situation right then at hand. Another thing too is hot condensate. Man, I've had hot condensate in my boot. That hurts. I know people out there will wear their coveralls and they'll stick their coveralls inside their boot because they don't want to drag it on the ground or whatever. And I talk to people. I've asked people. I said, man, that's not good. If you get sprayed and it sprays you, it's going to go right down in your boot, and then now you have your ankles and your feet that are all messed up too. Whereas if you just put your coveralls on the outside, it's going to hit your coveralls, go down, and your feet will pretty much be protected on there because it'll be a lot better on there. Same thing. I've seen welders out there put their clothes, their jeans inside their boots, and next thing you know, they're welding. Arc or something falls off, ash or something goes right in their boot. Next thing you know, they're coming out of their boot pretty quick because their foot's on fire and it hurts. I know somebody's probably thinking, well, it's never going to happen to me. And I used to say the same thing. Not going to happen to me, but it does, and it has. And you be aware of your surroundings on there. I just wanted to send this message. I just want everybody to be safe. Leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, we can talk about it more. I actually finally got a Facebook page. It's the Chemical Man Podcast Uncensored. Go over there. Everybody is welcome to go over there and check it out. You can talk about anything. I'm the admin. I won't delete it unless you have something on there that I don't feel like it should be on there. But you can talk about pay. You can talk about safety. You can talk about your dad working out there before you got out there and everything. I don't care. Talk about it. I won't delete it. And I think it's good for everybody else to talk about it. There's too many times when you try to ask a question and an admin will go in there and delete something and you're like, man, I had a question, but they don't want to answer it on there. So I just wanted to talk about that today. Anyway, you guys be safe out there. Take your time. We'll look over everybody in the unit. If somebody's struggling, help them out. If they're out there doing a lockout, tagout, get a second pair of eyes to make sure you're doing it right. There's been too many tragedies, and we don't want these. We don't want these to happen. Don't pencil whip stuff. You're there 12 hours. An hour, 2 hours out of 12 hours to do your job right is not asking much. And I want everybody to be safe because I like the work that I do, and I like the community that I'm in, and I think most everybody else does too. So I'll leave you at that. Remember, keep it in the pipe, watch your bleeds, and just do your checks. Like, subscribe, do what you have, and until the next time, thank you very much, and have a good one. And